for anti-American players who have sick plans for 911 game tonight. While we're all mourning the 2,996 lives lost in the attack, anti-American football players want to reclaim the attention. TMZ Sports reports, Iron Mike concedes players have the right to do what they want to do but thinks 9/11 is different and believes most will stand for old glory. As for the malcontents, Ditka says just let them be and move on, they'll be forgotten. The entire reason that these players take a knee for the anthem or act like disrespectful idiots in any other way on the field, is for the attention they get. As we've previously reported, Commissioner Roger Goodell said that football fans should be more understanding when players protest the national anthem. The NFL commissioner disagrees, coming to the defense of his entitled players once again by taking a big stance against law enforcement. The season is already off to a really bad start, and the only thing that could make it worse is for these players to show a complete disregard for the victims and their families on September 11th. These players would rather perpetuate the divide instead of using their platforms for good. The NFL stands to lose more fans than they already have if they allow their players to be idiots at either of the two games scheduled for tonight. Conspiracy theorist says he has final proof that Michelle Obama is a man. Years ago, the late and legendary Joan Rivers quipped that Barack Obama is gay and Michelle Obama is really a transgender man. Most people assumed Rivers was joking, because, well, she was a comedian. Well, at least one conspiracy theorist took that allegation seriously, and is now claiming he's got final proof that Michelle Obama is really a man. Alex Jones of InfoWars posted a 12-minute video purporting to contain all of the evidence one needs to come to the conclusion that Barack Obama is gay and is married to a biological male. In the video, Jones states, since the early days of the Obama administration, citizens across the board have studied videos and photos of Michelle Obama and said that she is a man. And even Barack Obama has called her over and over again Michael. But new shock footage has emerged that is being censored off the internet as fast as you can upload it. Now, I'm not saying that Michelle Obama is a tranny, and I don't hate trannies. Michelle appears in photos and videos to have a very large penis in her pants, her shoulders are wide, her face is very, very masculine. It just seems like an unnecessary swipe at the Obamas when there's already so much of actual importance for which hold them accountable. Trump sends feds in to raid in Wise Islamberg after 2 decades, uncover America's worst nightmare. There's a mysterious hidden Muslim compound called Islamberg that's nestled deep within the woods of the Catskill Mountains in New York. The only way to access the 70-acre compound is through primitive dirt roads, where more than 100 Muslims live in seclusion away from the prying eyes of curious Americans. Without access to the compound, there's been no way to confirm rumors about the location being used as a training ground for Muslim terrorists. For over 2 decades, this cult-like group of Sharia law-following Muslims have lived quietly under the guidance of Pakistani Sheikh Said Mubarak Ali Shah Gilani, a radical Muslim with known ties to Jamaat al-Fuqara, a terror organization responsible for a long list of terrorist activities around the world, including murders of rival religious figures in the United States. Islamberg resident Ramadan Abdullah. Shortly after arresting Ramadan Abdullah for theft, the Muslims' answers about why he was stealing ammunition raised suspicion among police, who then decided to obtain a search warrant to investigate their suspicions further. Illegal weapons seized from Islamberg compound. After Abdullah's arrest, authorities began looking closer into his background, discovering that the Muslim is a longtime associate of the U.S.-based Islamist terrorist organization, Muslims of America, and was the very same Muslim who was arrested back in 1977 after police discovered enough material at his home to build 50 bombs. Watch for yourself and ask, just what exactly is in that U-Haul truck? It's absolutely ridiculous that Muslims in this country are allowed to have their own freaking jihadi compounds, where they're actively training their residents on the necessary tactics to carry out terror attacks. While Americans are protected under the Constitution against illegal searches and seizures, when known freaking terrorists are leading these compounds, It's time to stop letting these Muslims hide behind our laws and put them all in Gitmo where they belong. H. Trump just royally enraged Obama with who he set free today. Remember these two. The gay couple wanted a wedding cake, but the baker claimed their sexual lifestyle, or marriage, was against his religious beliefs. Jack Phillips, the baker, must be ecstatic that he's been set free by Team Trump. He wasn't locked up, but he was up against a wall with a battle versus a demanding gay couple who wanted to violate his constitutional rights and force him to bake their cake. If Islamic people in prison can get better food because of their religion, then a baker can resist a cake for a couple because of his religion. President Trump's administration has sided with a Christian baker who refused to make a gay couple's wedding cake because he claimed their marriage went against his religious beliefs. If a baker isn't interested in baking a cake for a gay couple, then why would the gay couple bother them any further about it? Just find a new baker. The tricky part here is that some leftists will say things like then people don't have to bake cakes for cops either, but that's a nonsensical argument. What is your opinion? Should the baker have been forced to do something against his religion? Or did they do a great job and set the baker free from all responsibility of baking a cake for a gay couple? No matter what happens, people on the left will blame Trump and we will crack up laughing when they do. 48 HRS before Irma hits Florida. Look where Trump and Pence just showed up. That's has libs furious. Trump traveled to Texas twice to be with Hurricane Harvey survivors, and he will probably travel to Florida as soon as it's safe and the storm has moved away from the Panhandle. Quite risky choice of words, sir, but we don't know Trump's plans once he arrives at Camp David. Trump can't do much while Hurricane Irma is active around Florida. Care to mention that Trump signed a $15.3 billion Harvey aid package? Trump can sign an aid package from Russia if he wanted to, the point is that it gets done and people recover from natural disaster. Trump isn't going to rebuild people's homes while dressed like an Amish person and build someone a house in a day. The National Weather Service warns of life-threatening storm surge and wind impacts to much of the state, which should be on Trump's mind as he decides whether to relax in the heated pools at Camp David, watch a film in the movie theater there, play a few games in the bowling alley on site, take a horse out on the riding trails, or even see if he can master skeet shooting. For all we know, Trump is either planning on what to do next while at Camp David, or he's already planned it. This guy messed with the wrong guy's wife. Boom. Check what happens in just few seconds. This big man at some outdoor dining place learned this the hard way when he allegedly dropped offending words to or about an attractive blonde, who happened to be with her husband. The offended husband confronted the man, who appeared to be quite proud of what he did. The wife tried to intervene and stop her husband from taking it further, saying the whole thing's not worth it. The husband was having none of it, and when the defiant man refused to back down and instead emphasized that he was indeed talking about the wife, the husband grabbed a bottle and showed the bully what happens to men who talk s about another man's wife. Don't ever speak ill about another man's wife, not even if you look bigger and stronger than him. You never know what you gonna get. Warning, strong language. Hilarious. Cher offered her house to dreamers, and then some guy called her bluff. Her claim is not only classic virtue signaling, it shows a complete lack of understanding of the situation of dreamers in the doc program. Dreamers aren't homeless and don't need a place to stay. If Cher was really concerned about the plight of dreamers, she would pay to get them all attorneys. President Obama deported more illegal and undocumented immigrants than any other president in history. Dreamers who want to be Americans really have one option: get a really good attorney, because the immigration system is incredibly complicated. Cher isn't going to spend good money on someone else's attorneys, when she can just grandstand on Twitter. Cher probably figured she had won the argument, at least until someone forced her to put up or shut up by tweeting out her home address so dreamers can head on over to visit.